Okay, at that point, you really became like obviously a dope artist, but a sex symbol as well.
Yeah, it worked out.
Give it all to me, baby.
Yeah.
I need you. Oh.
Hey everybody, I want to say thank you so much for the love that you guys have been showing me on these interviews, on my YouTube page. I cannot say how much I appreciate it. All of you tuning in, especially for our last interview for On That Note with Nivea.
Because I didn't stay there a full year because I ended up going to live with my sister for about a week. I was about to go get a job at Babes as Nivea.
Where's Babe?
An old strip club, girl.
You know, we've been doing a lot of interviews on this YouTube page, trying to build it up, bringing you so many great people. If you haven't had a chance to see some of my other interviews, I would ask and tell you that you should go back and look at some of them. Really, really dope interviews with information that you haven't been able to hear everywhere else. We do the Speak On It, but then we also do On That Note. And On That Note is similar to Speak On It, where it gives people a chance to really just say what they feel and what's on their mind. But On That Note is kind of geared to people in the music entertainment industry. So, on that note, yeah, the pun was intended there, okay? On that note, before I introduce this next guest, today is the finale of Season 4 of The Chi. And yes, I'm on tonight's episode. I just want to say also thank you so much for tuning into The Chi and all the love that you guys have been giving to The Chi. And I appreciate the support that you guys have been. I've been seeing your comments saying that you love my character Rosalind on the show, but somebody else that you really love on the show is my boy, Trig, played by Luke James. So on that note, again, up next, I have a heart-to-heart with my boy, Luke James. We're gonna talk all about his music career, and we're gonna talk about his transition from music to film, and a little bit about how he feels playing Trig on The Chi this season. So, I hope you like it.
But you know, in LA, it's like kind of like a thing. You kind of like, to be seen, you have to put yourself out there. So LA makes you feel like you gotta be out there all the time. You gotta be on the horse all the time. And moving here kind of just let me settle down.
Okay, what made you move to Atlanta?
I booked Star. And Star shot out here.
All right.
Because I'm from New Orleans, I'd always had thoughts of like, maybe I get some property in Atlanta. Being here, working here, I was like, okay, it makes sense. It's Southern, black folks. Also, I get to smell the roses, my own flowers, you know, it's your people who watch your art. They celebrate you. You know, in LA, it's a little bit more pretentious. Everybody is a star, so not everybody feels keen to want to say, hey, I admire what you're doing and whatnot. And in some ways, yeah, you don't want to live your life off of validation, but it feels good to, you know, receive your flowers in a sense. Just a little bit, not a full bouquet, maybe just a flower, you know?
Just a little flower.
Just a little something. So here I get
a petal.
Here I get that. It's soulful, Southern, and I'm close to home.
When did you move from New Orleans?
05, after we graduated, just came to LA. Also, I gotta say, my mom, though she has the thickest New Orleans accent ever, my mom was really on me about not slurring my words and just my pronunciation, my diction, you know, because when you go out into the world, not everybody's from New Orleans. Not everybody's gonna receive you. You know, a black mother being a black mom, trying to make sure I exceed expectations and don't get pigeonholed.
Okay. At what point did you decide that you wanted to make entertainment your career? I mean, obviously, we knew you first in music. So what made you decide to make music your career?
As a child, doing the arts, I had the most fun doing that outside of academics, anything that felt strenuous in that way. So at a young age, I'd already decided that, this is what I'm doing. I don't know about all this other stuff that they're trying to teach me and have me, you know, meet people and talk to people. You know, when you're in school, you're doing all this meet and greet and and career day and all that kind of stuff, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. Get to LA and me get on. Because I want to make music, I want to sing, I want to explore the world via music.
What was your break?
My first break was I was in a group. We were a trio. We sang all around New Orleans, outside of New Orleans. We did everything. We came to Atlanta to do talent shows. So we were just leaving a performance we had just done late in the night, and we were driving down Canal Street passing the Singer Theater. And the Singer Theater was Brian McKnight featuring Tyrese. We had met Brian McKnight earlier that summer at Jazz Fest. Got his contact but lost it. So he was like, oh no, we about to go stand and
Wait, how you just lose the number to somebody who could give you your big break?
It was a card. We were kids. We put it in our pockets. You know, stuff like that happens, you know?
Okay.
So here we are seeing an opportunity, you know, a second chance. And we're like, okay, we're gonna pull up, park somewhere, and we'll come out. We'll stand in front of stand by the artist entrance. We did that. We could see him on the bus playing video games and stuff with his kids. So we was just like, okay, we just gonna stay here and just keep singing. Boys to Men. We just gonna keep singing. Boys to Men did it. We could do it too. Just stand there and just keep singing. There was this dude standing out there. He was cool as hell, and he told us to stay here. He wanted us to meet someone, and we stayed there and we just kept singing. We just kept singing. And next thing you know, there's a guy came out of a limo, because at the time people still doing limos. He came out of a limo, and the guy happened to be Frank Gatson. And so we were singing for him, and then he brought us inside. We run into the guy that went in to go get somebody, and who that somebody was Tyrese. Frank Gatson managed Tyrese at the time.
Right.
We sang for him, gave us backstage passes. We kicked it, and from that's where the relationship began. And once we graduated, we just moved to LA.
Did y'all sign to Tyrese, or he just introduced y'all to the right people?
Just introduced us to the right people. He allowed us to sing background for him.
Oh, okay.
So we got to LA, and Frank immediately was like, okay, you three will be his background singers. And via Tyrese, you'll, make a little money and also be able to showcase yourself. And if Tyrese allows it, you guys will be able to sing and get some experience and get to see what this is all about, the do's and don'ts. That's what we did for a while.
How long is a while?
I mean, it felt like a while, but when I think about it, it was like within like 2 years, or a year maybe, because Tyrese was working a lot with the Underdogs. So that's how we met the Underdog. And the Underdogs were trying to get a label deal because they had been working with Clive Davis a lot. And Clive had just signed a group, boy band, and he was looking for a duo. At this point, it was just me and one of my brothers still on the road.
So one of them was out of the group now?
Yeah, one of them left. So it's just me.
Why?
Just, a lot of the ups and downs of being
just tired of waiting
and all of that, and our families are involved and stuff, and opinions of what we should do and what we should be doing and stuff. So ultimately, me and my other brother, we were like, man, we're making a little money. We're in the field that we want to be in, so we'll just grind it out.
And when you say brother, you mean real brother or just friend that you call brother?
Well, it's hard to say not real, because to me he's blood. We just kept, we stayed at it. We kept singing background, and via Tyrese we met the Underdogs, and Underdogs met us, then brought us to Clive Davis, his bungalow, and we Clive asked us, why should I sign you two? Why? What makes you different than any other duo, whatever. My brother was about to answer, give some old New Orleans yummy because we crazy, he's about to give him. I was like, nah, let's just sing, because that works for us, period. Just sing. The proof is in the pudding. We stood up, we sung, and that was it. He hit us with the whole little Sopranos, my boys, and we signed J Records, and that's kind of got me in inside the business.
Luke and Q.
Yeah.
Did y'all ever drop a song?
Yeah, we had a song called My Turn.
But I like sure is. We'll take the trip. I'll split the time. Gonna hit you up.
Now it's my turn. Forget about your man. Girl, you know that you can do much better than him, so might as well let him know you about to let him go. It's my turn. It's my turn, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go find that. We will find it. Okay, so wait, here's the other thing. I always have to ask, because on that note, seeing as though we are based in, entertainment and people's career choices, what was your first deal like?
Full on 360 for sure.
The 360 deal, also known as the multiple rights deal, is an exclusive recording agreement where the record company can earn a percentage from everything the artist makes.
This is like when it really, like when 360 started to really like, these were like status quo, like this is what you're signing.
We're talking money earned from songwriting, publishing, lyrics, all streaming and digital sales, concerts, tours, gigs, live performances, television, radio, film, ringtones, endorsement. In other words, any and everything the artist makes.
Shoot, 20 grand a piece. In our minds, at the, we're kids. So
You
we're
thought
like,
you made, how old were you at that point?
19.
Okay.
So you're like, yeah, this is my name. That's my name. I ain't got nothing. I don't have a business manager in a sense. I mean, we had our managers who would, help us out and everything. But yeah, it was 360. It was an interesting experience.
And how long were you in that deal?
3 years.
Okay.
3 years. It'd be quick. You know what I mean?
How much music did you get to drop in that 3-year span?
We dropped 2 songs.
So no album, just singles.
No album. We got albums, but we never dropped any of them.
It never came out.
Never came out. Well, at the Underdogs, just music galore, and just we recording. I mean, we just only put out one real record. We put out another one, but it didn't do nothing. So my turn. If we're known, we're known by that song.
How did you feel about the situation at the time?
I was green, didn't know any. I mean, I just was like, this is the way it go.
Just going with the flow.
I'm going with the flow. I'm sitting here buddy with Tank and Tyrese, and I'm seeing all these artists that I admire, that I've looked up to, and now I'm friends with them and stuff. I'm here, I'm writing songs. Now I'm learning how to write songs with these people that I've been listening to, but I didn't know, I wasn't tapped into producers. So I didn't really tap into credits. Divine Intervention, being signed to a production company that I'm actually a fan of musically, was awesome. Once it came to light, I was like, whoa, you guys make all this music that I love. Okay, I'm in the right place regardless of whatever happens. I just want to write songs and just stay in it. It was a learning experience, It was a learning experience,
I bet it was.
Yes.
I mean, because there's a lot of, as an artist, it's one thing to learn, but as a writer, it's a totally different learning experience.
Totally different.
So have you ever written on a song that came out, but you really didn't get much credit for it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, is there one that we would know?
Why you wanna change me? Flip all the ways that really make me. The way that I am used to make you crazy, baby. Why you wanna change me?
I know the
Girl,
song.
oh, you still let me get it anywhere now. Oh, why you wanna change me?
This is bothering me. Whose song was that?
Ruben Stutter.
Ruben! Yes, okay.
Why you wanna change me? Flip all the things that really made me.
So Ruben Stutter was coming back to the Underdogs to work. He had already, been doing his gospel thing and everything, and now he's coming back to do another album. The guys were looking for, trying to figure out songs, and everybody's going into their basket of like songs they already created. Shouts out to Lil Steve, because Lil Steve is the reason why I took up writing, really took up, publishing and understanding the
Steve from Truth.
Steve from Truth. Yep.
Yeah, we worked together before.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I never that's where we first met.
At the studio. See,
Yes.
I don't remember that, but
That's
it's like I feel like I know for years would bump into you, but I
Yes.
can't remember our first meeting.
Through Lil Steve. I was a young gunner, just trying to be anywhere I could be. Anywhere. We got writing? I'm trying to be in the room. I'm not gonna write nothing. I just want to sit in and listen. Well, here comes this moment, and artists is coming, and all the guys are like finding songs and whatnot, and Lil Steve is now starting to like think about just making something from scratch. I had just came from, I think, Walgreens or something, and I just saw tabloids of Ruben Stutter, and on the front of the tabloid they had a version of Ruben Stutter, what he would look like if he lost 200 pounds. Now, it was obviously messed up. I felt it. I was like, why does he have to change? Like,
Right.
And I remember I came to the studio. Lil Steve was trying to figure out something, And I was like, well, there was this tabloid, and it's like, why has he got to change? You know, he's who he is. Or like, why do people feel like he has to change himself? I mean, to be healthy, yes, but to be liked, why?
Yeah.
And Lil Steve was like, it's right there. It's right there. And so he started creating the music. He already changed me. There was already that. Then the guys started, pouring in, and everybody started writing and stuff. And I came up with, the concept and everything. And I was just sitting there like,
How much of the hook or the lyric and the melody did you do?
I mean, I got, change me. Why you want to change me?
Okay.
They gave me a little 1-2% on that.
Even though that was the title and part of the hook.
This is what you could do. It's what,
That's you paid your dues.
You know what I mean?
You paid your dues.
That's what it was, and that's what I take. I take that, and I'm good. I got a lot of other placements via them. Some Charlie Wilson. My experiences just came from just being in the room. Most of all, outside of the publishing, yes, that would have been nice to have, which I've gotten a little bit, and that was my first publishing. But it was just the experiences just to be there, to see how these dudes create, how they mingle business, with pleasure and all of that kind of stuff.
What do you mean by that?
Well, it's the studio, and people are there all night, and in order to create this music, it got to come from somewhere, so it's all of that. And I'm a kid, so I'm just watching these grown men be men, and I was just learning a lot.
But what was you doing?
Oh, you 19, 20, in a state-of-the-art studio, Backstreet Boys, and you name it, all these types of people come through. I mean, I was just there trying to learn and be a sponge.
Okay. We're going to keep talking, Luke. He's one of them. You got to pull it out of him. It's okay. Anyway.
Oh, get some water after that one.
You ain't even said much.
I know, I ain't gonna say it either. There's a lot going on, but it was a lot going on. Not nothing negative. It was just more like a lot of life, straight out of high school, getting acclimated to just like, as I'm on my journey to become my own man. This is my acclimation. This is the community I was a part of. And,
Okay, so after 3 years,
yeah.
where did you get released from?
Yeah, we got dropped. Yeah.
Okay, I was being nice.
I
Okay. So you got dropped from, what was it, J Records at
J
the time?
Records,
Okay,
yeah.
J. But were you released from Underdogs as well?
Not right away. That lasted 6 months.
So what was the transition? What was the next move?
The next move, conversation with me and my brother, and just seeing what he wanted to do, what path that he wanted to go down, because, this is where we are, and what do you want to do? Because now at this point, I'm really knee deep into like songwriting, behind the scenes kind of thing. I'm still trying to find myself as an artist, but I'm really loving getting publishing, so, and I'm understanding what that is, his assets and whatnot, right? So he wasn't that thick into it, and he had other things going on that he wanted to do. We decided to just part ways and figure it out on our own, and one of us make it, then we figure it out, you know what I mean? So that's kind of what happened, and I got fully into songwriting. Through that, I got a lot of placements. I met a guy by the name of Danger, and this woman named Marcella, Eureka, and they both are engineer and producer, and they produced a lot of stuff for Justin Timberlake, Sexy Back, and all that stuff. And so I clicked up with them and was writing songs with them, and for Britney Spears and stuff like that. And for
Britney Spears?
I mean, I'm trying to be like you. So,
You doing big things now. You talking about Britney Spears.
I'm trying to follow.
At that time, yeah.
So I was just trying to, at this point, I'm on the hustle. Now I'm a songwriter, just jumping
Trying to make a living.
Yeah, just from studio, producer to producer, just making connections and trying to do the best work to be able to keep doing work, be hired and all that kind of stuff. So, but I never lost track of my artistry. Through that, I found myself in that sense. I found Luke James. Because at the time, it was just Luke.
With that being said, you lived in LA, the world of sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Absolutely.
Did you ever find yourself falling into any of the drugs or any of that?
Yeah. Alcohol galore. Especially when you're young, you just like, liquor. Lots of it, right? But I had a lot of big brothers, good big brothers, who would just, took me under their wing, and I would party with them, but they took care of me, made sure I wasn't I never ventured off into some dangerous territories. I've had some instances. I mean, it's LA. I'm black. You go out and you'll find something. But overall, I had some great big brothers around me. Tank, I used to live with Tank. He's my big brother, mentored me through it all. You know, the party scene to how to make money and how to tour and how to make those relationships that you know, and how to grab the people. And I sang background for him for a while and just learned so much.
It sounds like you had one of those pretty easygoing life learning careers.
Yeah.
Like you never had any like crazy experiences as far as business was concerned.
I don't know. I guess I just kind of take it on the chin. Like it could at the time. I probably, if you'd have asked me at the time, I'd probably be a little bit more wild about it and erratic about it. But now I just take it as like, hey, you know, that was life. You know, I needed that for whatever reason, and it propelled me to sit here right now with you. You know.
Right. So you were blessed.
Yeah.
Thank the Lord.
Yes.
So when did the solo career pop off?
Solo career popped off 2011. I think that's.
So it took a long time to get to that point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Took a second. In the middle of that, I was just writing and just trying to be known as a writer, a top liner, you know, get in the room. When I met Danger and Marcella, that kind of like, they kind of pushed me into like really finding myself, and you should do it. Like, you know, you should be an artist, and found my name, which had always been with me. James is my middle name. My last name is Boyd.
Did not know that. Okay.
So I just went with Luke James. It rang, it felt good, felt strong.
Yeah.
You know? I got signed to Mercury Records, Island Def Jam, via David Massey. Shouts out to David Massey. We put that song out, and I had a performance on BET Honors, which was supposed to be another artist. I seized the moment.
So you feel like that was the moment that kind of like made you stand out to your fan? And
It was my Michael Jackson Motown 25 moonwalk.
what did you perform at that time?
I Want You.
It's crazy how your heart just has a mind of its own.
I Want You.
My mind tries to deny it, girl. I can't fight what I know.
I want you, baby. Woo.
Okay. I love the fact that he just busts out in song every 2 seconds.
You know, on that note.
Okay, at that point, you really became like obviously a dope artist, but a sex symbol as well.
Yeah, it worked out.
Give it all to me, baby.
Yeah.
I need you. Oh.
So I know that, you know, everybody was crazy about, I mean, me personally, one of the songs that I really love is that Drip?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you booty, but I'm right to finish
Yeah.
Yeah.
everything is.
Yeah. That song, I love that song too. That's a part of growth. Drip is a transformative moment of me letting go.
Letting go of what?
In the sense of like letting go. Up until that moment, I was just really gung-ho about like, I just didn't like working with other people. I met a brother years before that, Ryan Toby. He had always, every time we ran into each other, he'd always been like, yo, we should work together. And I, you know, I just really was just like, yeah, okay. But in my mind, I'm like, for me, I just know me. And I wasn't in love with what everyone was doing. Obviously, I was in LA. I'm listening to what everybody's doing. I'm a songwriter myself. Tone of music and everything. I just wasn't vibing with stuff. So we never really connected. Fast forward, I'm in a different space, you know, spiritually, just in a different space. And we had just wrapped New Edition. It wasn't out yet, but we had
Which
just
was
wrapped
dope.
it. Yeah, connected with him via my brother, Ro James.
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah,
dope.
he had been working with Ryan, and I saw the connection, and I saw how they worked together, and I was like, okay, I want to see what this is about. The vibe in the room, just us, was just on point.
Why haven't you been doing more of that?
Because, well, I was signed to a label at the time, and I wasn't completely happy with being signed at a label, and I wasn't eager to put music out under the label. You know, also I was coming out of a depression, and I was still kind of in whatever that was making me feel the way that I did. So I just needed to give myself time and make the proper moves to remove myself from that.
Okay, do you mind me asking, what was the cause of the depression?
When you grow up inside of a business and it becomes all you know and all you in some ways it's your value. You feel that it is your validation, and so when it feels like you're not that love and respect is not reciprocated, and you don't feel like you're getting anywhere inside of something that you grew up in, made me look at the world differently, made me look at myself differently, and I felt like I had nowhere to go and I couldn't see myself out, and so I just got more depressed, and I wasn't in love with myself. I wasn't in love with life, and I wasn't in love with music. I wasn't having fun. I wasn't in a good place. So,
How long did that period of time last?
maybe 4 years. Maybe, I don't know. Could be 4 or 6 years.
Do you feel like you're out of it now?
I think I'm not far from it.
I feel you.
Change of environment from LA to Atlanta.
Yes, that helps.
Did it start in LA?
It started in LA.
Okay.
Yeah, it started in LA. When I got New Edition. What's up, man? This is Luke James. I am portraying the one and only JG, Johnny Gill.
Ooh, say it a little louder.
I was before New Edition. I was knee deep, neck deep in the quicksand. And New Edition came like God knows how to do, just at the right time. It's movie magic. Get into it. Help me get out of that funk. Help me not think about me so much. Here I am accepting a new challenge to become someone and to be believable to a world that knows this person in and out, through and through. I have to not be vain and think about me and my wants. Now it's time to just let go of Luke James, think about Johnny Gill, think about New Edition. In doing that, on that journey, it helped me break all these layers and hear stories of people going through similar things that I was experiencing at the time. Surrounded myself with this love.
Sunny day. Sing right now. Everybody loves them.
These dudes who I didn't know at the time, but now know, and we gotta click tight because we're on the same journey, the same path of like celebrating these guys.
Can you stand the rain?
And
Which is a very big deal. Like
Yes.
when you have to,
Yes.
be as someone who's already an icon or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a lot on your
It
shoulders.
was a lot. Yeah, I couldn't think about me. My friend told me at the time, once we had finished, one of my castmates, my brother Elijah Kelly, he's the one who called me with the opportunity. Shouts out to Elijah. Thank you, saved my life. He told me, he said, man, out of all of us, you got a lot to lose out of all of this because you're known as Luke James. So it's like, you're stepping into a field of acting. And everybody wants to, us as people, we naturally are like, you stick to singing, So there's a lot this is my breakthrough, this is my second movie, but this is where I'm really like in it to shine.
What was the first movie?
First movie was Black Nativity.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Black Nativity, yep. And that's when I first met Jacob Lattimore. That's our first project together. Yeah. And when I did that, everything was on the up and up in a sense. Just released single, got this movie, just got Grammy nominated.
So you were in a more positive place with the Black Nativity movie.
Everything was like, it was the surge of Luke James was booming, was starting to happen. I just got picked up by Beyonce to be on her tour.
I remember I saw you on that tour, but good.
Yeah, so a lot of things were going, like we were on our way. I was in a good place and I wasn't thinking about acting like how I think about it now. So fast forward, New Edition just gave me an opportunity to let go and by letting go, I found myself. I found my childlike self, my inhibitions and all that just came back, having conversations with Babyface and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and New Edition and Brooke Payne, Stroh and Lee and all them, and just hearing the stories and clicking with these brothers that I just met to become these guys and all this fun and stuff. It was just so much fun. It was just a lot. And it brought me back to like, we had to listen to old music, classic music, that the stuff I grew up listening to.
And learn the dance routines.
Yeah, oh my God, my knees hurt just thinking about it. And it just revitalized me.
Okay, so how much time was it between Black Nativity and the New Edition movie?
That was probably 6 years.
Oh, is that much time in between? So you didn't do any acting between the two? Okay. All right, I'm going to ask you this question. A friend told me to ask you. So you had a very high profile relationship. You and Jessie J.
I hate that I let you down, and I feel so bad about it.
Okay, both of y'all can sing y'all asses off, by the way. So,
you.
I mean, it was like an amazing to see y'all together. You know, everybody was like, ooh, we want them to win and come together. So how did that even get started?
She hit me up. She hit me up. I thought she was just like, she slid in the DMs and said, she basically gave me this paragraph of like, yo, you know, really appreciate your work. You know, love you as an artist. Like, you're an amazing singer. Would love to sing with you. That kind of thing. That's how I read it. How I'm saying it seems cordial. It seems like, okay. Also, the label she was signed to had just merged on with Def Jam. And so I just thought that was like some label mate thing happening. I didn't think none of it. I showed my product manager the DM, and he was like, bro, she's trying to hit. She's trying to talk to you, man. What's up? I was like, no, no, I didn't read it that way, and it was exactly that way. Hey, listen, she knows what she won't. She knows what she won't.
Did y'all connect immediately?
Not immediately. Funny thing is, so I got her number, and I'm not the quickest at hitting people and responding and ooty-woo or whatever. So we exchanged numbers or whatever, and I wasn't, gun-ho on it, texting all over. I was busy.
Not busy.
I reached out to her like maybe a month or two later.
Not a month or two.
Yeah, like we talked, but not like, every night or whatever. It was kind of like very cordial. Mind you, I didn't read it. I didn't receive it as she's trying to holler. I just received it as artist and artist. So I wasn't on it like that. I hit her back. Maybe it was just a month. I not hit her back. I reached out to her just to say, what's up? Hope all is well. She responded, but in a weird way. And I was like, I didn't know what, it was really weird.
What's the response?
She asked me, how's the wife and kids type thing. Yeah, I was like, I thought she was being funny because I've seen interviews and she's really hilarious. So I was like, I thought she was being funny. I was like, oh, they're great. How's your husband? I don't know. I tried to respond the same way, and we realized that, wait, something's off. And she thought I was Dr. Luke. Yeah, she thought it was Dr. Luke.
The producer.
Yeah, I was like, no, this is Luke James. And then we FaceTimed, and bam, it was like, oh, and yeah, we kicked it, via FaceTime. And then I was living in New York at the time. We linked up, and it was magic.
How long was it magic?
It was magical for 2-3 years.
Ooh.
Of the rain that falls upon your skin is closer than I've ever been. Oh, I'm jealous of the rain.
Was this before or after the depression?
I was in it.
You was in the middle of it.
I was in the middle of it.
So it had already started. So at the time that you guys were in a relationship,
This is before I knew I was depressed, though.
You didn't know. Okay. So my question is, was this before or after social media really became a thing?
No, this is after.
Okay, so y'all were out in the public eye a lot.
Yeah.
People were in your business.
Well, she's an A-lister.
Obviously.
So they all up in hers. So
do you think that affected you? Because it's like at a certain point when you're in a relationship with a high profile person, it's like it gets to be so much about the relationship instead of what you're doing.
It affected me a little bit. Not tremendously, not in totality, I think. But it did affect me. But we both were going through a lot of things, a lot of changes personally before we had met each other, and here we are with each other and, going through this thing together. And it was just a storm that we both weren't really prepared for, I love her to death, and it was nothing negative I can think of that it ended well. In a sense, I mean,
how does it end well, though?
I know, but
what was decision? Whose decision was it to end?
It was both of ours. It was a mutual. Something is off, and at the time, not really realizing that I'm depressed. And she had a lot of things going on her side, medical things and whatnot. She's very candid about.
So basically, 4 years ago, I don't know if anyone remembers this, fans, people in the media. I went into hospital and had 2 surgeries and never spoke about what it was. I was diagnosed with 2 uterus diseases. Whoa. And they're basically hormonal diseases. And
it just, in career stuff, we both were, going through. Just was hard.
It just became a lot.
It just became a lot, and it was turning our friendship into something else.
And I wanted to celebrate by bringing someone here that's very special to me, with one of my favorite voices in the whole world, Mr. Luke James.
And so that wasn't cool for me, and it wasn't cool for her. So it was just best for us to part ways this way.
So at that point, where were you in your career? Before or after New Edition?
This is before New Edition. Yeah, this is.
So you was like really in the thick of it when the relationship broke up.
When the relationship broke up, and you know, I just was. I didn't have a home. I was a bit of a nomad because I had been on tour for the last 4-5 years. So I didn't really have a space of my own. I wasn't really making any money. So, you know, I was just floating. It just really I didn't feel right. And so I ran away to Miami. Luckily I had good people like Marcella, Reka, and Danger. They have a studio, and they just allow me to live in the studio. You know, like live in it, because I wanted to be around music, around instruments and stuff, because you know, I was just on a quest to end this weird pain that I was having, and I felt that music was going to do that for me. So I said, I'll sleep here. You know, I just want to be in it. It wasn't getting any brighter, but it was good to be around people and people that love me, and I wasn't alone. It's better than that.
Yeah, people that supported you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you on that. So, okay, you were in Miami at this point. How long was it before the New Edition opportunity came about?
So that was pretty much somewhat of end of summer.
So months?
Yeah, months.
Okay, so it wasn't too long from the time you moved to Miami.
No, it was months, and then because like, it's kind of confusing because Miami doesn't really get cold because I'm trying to remember the time of the year. It was months in the thick of it. You know, beard. I was fat.
You was fat?
Yeah, I was just eating IHOP. I was just eating IHOP. It was my dinner, lunch, breakfast, everything, and just trying to create music, and just I didn't care about nothing. You know, I didn't care about nothing but trying to get myself back. You know.
So at any point, because some people feel like, you know, let me just go back to New Orleans and recoup, or do people back home think that you're the superstar?
Yeah. People's perception of me is everything's great. Everything is beautiful. I'm living at my highest.
Yeah, because you're so chill and everything.
Yeah.
It's like, even when you talk about things that probably were not the greatest, you still be like, oh, well, it's cool. It was a learning experience.
Yeah.
You're definitely not a complainer. I will say that.
No.
After, you know, you did the New Edition movie, what was the next thing? Was it Star?
No, the next thing was Insecure. I did a episode on Insecure. Oh, I'm lying. Before Insecure, I did so New Edition happened, and just, you know, I started casting and all that kind of stuff. So I jumped on Unsolved, Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls murder. It was a USA limited series. I got on Insecure for an episode, which was awesome because I had never been in that experience. Well, obviously all of this was brand new to me, the whole film world or whatever, but at this point, when I went there, I had been around a lot. So the New Edition thing was one experience, and then doing the Unsolved thing was one experience, and then going to Insecure and just seeing how just the feminine energy that was all around, that was just it felt good, because now you understand why a show is so good, because there's this type of love that's all around, and that was awesome. And it was just one episode, but I enjoyed my experience. And from that, then Star, yeah.
Okay. And how long were you on Star?
I was on Star for 2 seasons.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So do you think at this point your career became more about acting than music?
At this point, yeah. Yeah. People now know me more so as an actor rather than a singer. Being a singer is a surprise.
Do you find that weird?
Yes. But humbling, because I used to say, God will show you, boy. I used to say, black people know me. I used to say when Luke James, when I started going, I Want You and all that, and on tour with Beyonce and Wooty Woo and all that stuff, because I was doing a lot. I was always somewhere. Essence Festival, all that, you know. I was like, black people know me. My people know me. People know me. Wooty Woo. No. After New Edition, people are like, is that really you singing? Yeah. Even after we did the tribute on BET, the BET Awards.
You sure look good tonight.
People thought I was lip singing.
What?
Humbling. It was humbling. It was humbling. Because, you know, in the scheme of it all, like, you know, you're your brand. You know, you have to be honest with yourself. And not be so. I was green. I was still green. I thought I wasn't, but I was very green. I was just like, psh, everybody know me. No, they don't. You got so much more to go, so much further to go. And yeah, acting, the film world has humbled me in that aspect. But also, you know, it's not. I think that's divine too. It's divine intervention, because also I hear a lot from, you know, I listen to a lot of actors talk about acting and their experience and whatnot and what their beliefs are. And some would say that, you know, the best actors are invisible. When you see them, you see them, but you believe them because you know nothing else about them really.
Right.
So they can be everything, you know, in the moment. And us being artists first and jumping into the acting world, it's a little harder for us because we got a lot to prove in some sense, right? One, prove to ourselves, and yes, we can ignore all of that, but the truth is, and people really like give us the hardest, like, real side eye, like looking as if they're casting directors, as if they've acted, as if they've done this before.
Right.
They've gone to Broadway and theater. I know what being a thespian's all about and believability. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, so I had a lot to earn.
Let's move on to The Shot.
Yeah.
Which we have in common.
Yes.
Isn't it funny how your world just brings you around in circles?
Full circle moments.
We met in the studio. Like, I knew I had met you before, I just didn't know where.
Yes.
So back when the Underdog days, which was the early 2000s,
Yes.
right? Yeah,
Yes,
something like that.
yes.
And then it's like, boom, now we're at the end. It's 2021.
Yeah. Who would have known?
Like, who would have known?
It? If somebody had told me then, when we first met, that we would be in a hit primetime television series, you know, what? Myself, I was like, I would believe you because that's who I am. I'd be like, yeah, because,
It's gonna happen.
you're right.
Got it.
But I wouldn't have, I don't know if
You
I
wouldn't know how it would have come there. You wouldn't know what the journey would have been to get there. And I agree with you. I wouldn't have known what the journey was to get us to this point.
Did you know this part though?
What?
Did you know all the while we were there at
Okay.
the Underdogs,
Okay.
doing the thing, whatever, you know that Lena Waithe was a couple floors up above us?
No.
She was an intern for Tracy Edmonds.
Really?
She told me this, and
That's crazy.
she remembers me and my brother. I talk about this now because it's like, it is, you know, I say this because I hope that people grab on to, like, man, you know, just be a solid person through and through throughout your life. Just be good and just keep moving forward. You know, that's really just what it's all about. And you never know who you're going to meet along the way.
Right.
Who's going to throw you a bone and be like, oh my God.
And circle back around.
And she remembers me and my brother being on the elevators because we lived at the Underdogs.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were hounds too, kids. But, you know, they was always having auditions. There's always some beautiful women coming up the elevator, and me and my brother will always try to follow that and act like we got off on the wrong floor. You know, it's only the third floor, but their floor is the 10th or something like that. But she remembers.
That's hilarious.
Full circle, here we are.
Wait, sidebar, what happened to your brother?
Oh, he's still doing music. He's in New Orleans. Well, he's in Atlanta as well, in New Orleans. He's doing
Okay.
music.
So he still do it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, everybody already knows that your storyline, when you first came into this, it was a big, well, it still is kind of a big deal in the Black community, especially to be in a relationship with, you know, what people, you know, perceive as a straight man with a woman of trans experience, right? So, with that being said, when you know, decided to do this role, I mean, I'm sure they told you what
Yeah.
the role consists of or whatever. So what were you thinking when it first came up to do this audition?
Okay, I'll throw a little tidbit in there. So before this opportunity came, 2 years, maybe 2 years or 3 years came. Before this, I had an opportunity to audition for Moonlight.
Oh, okay.
And read the script. Beautiful script, made me cry. It was everything. Everything about it is everything that it earned everything it's supposed to earn because it was written. It was in the words. It was that. But I myself at this time, I just wasn't. I hadn't thought that far about as an actor. What type of actor am I? Am I able to let go of Luke and be someone else fully? I wasn't there yet. And so I was turning the audition down. This is just an audition, right? At this time, this is just an indie movie that sounds like it's like, not completely low budget, but it wasn't so like it was about to be what it was, what it became, right?
Yeah.
Which it already was. I just felt like I couldn't do that. I don't think I could be that guy. Anyway, my manager, Jerome Martin, awesome brother, he just talked some wisdom into me because he's been in this business 30 plus years. Talked some good sense into me, and I took the audition. I went in, didn't know it was a director's.
Talking for The Shy or for Moonlight?
For Moonlight.
Oh, you did take the audition?
Yeah,
Okay.
I took the audition, and it was an opportunity to, it was a director's meeting, a director's audition. Barry was there, Barry Jenkins was there, and I read, and it was awesome. The exchange was great and everything. Obviously didn't get it. It was perfect. But that experience, and I'm glad that I did it, because the experience I got from that, just going through the follow through from that, I'd always said that at some point as I grow as an actor, yes, if an opportunity comes to me again and I'm ready, I will jump at the opportunity. Now at this point,
Wait, which part were you auditioning for?
I was auditioning for both parts, black and
You read for both parts.
for both parts, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. The main roles.
The main roles, yeah.
Gotcha.
So obviously didn't get it or whatever, but that experience was what it was, and I took that like, okay, it's good to just get out there and be seen, and you never know, and but also I was like, I'm not ready as an actor to play these roles or whatever. So it's better to give it to someone who can do it and embody it and tell the story completely. Fast forward through it all, I just said, hopefully I grow and become a better actor, and I don't think of myself first in a sense, right? I can look at the script and say, this character needs to be seen, and I feel this character, and I can do it.
Okay, let me pause you right quick.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna ask you this question, and you don't have to answer it, or if you do, you can always have us take it out. Okay, simple as that. Before the Moonlight audition, had you ever been intimate with another man?
No.
Oh, okay. So for you, to me, because it's two different worlds.
Yeah.
It's music world
Yeah.
and it's acting world, right? As a music artist, and especially you, I don't know if you consider yourself to be a heartthrob, but you were a heartthrob.
I take it.
Obviously you had a huge female fan base or whatever. And in the black community, and I'm not saying that you were only a black artist, but obviously, as you said, black people know me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Did the judgment of your fans from music, or just judgment of your community, did that have a lot to do with your decision at first not to audition for the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. What would that do to Luke James? Yeah. That definitely. I mean, that's when I say me, I think of me in totality. Not my own personal life or with my friends or whatever. My friends are my friends. They know me. But yeah, I thought of my career, my brand. I thought about, okay, what's that going to do to my brand? I don't know, I don't know if I'm ready for that, but I'm trying to be an actor, a respected actor.
And take it to the next level.
Yes. So that didn't happen, but I'm glad I took that meeting, because fast forward, after New Edition, I ran into Barry on the red carpet. He remembered me and told me he loved my tape, loved our interaction, and we were going to work together. And obviously, that's what you do it for, right? To put yourself out there. Had I not taken that opportunity, I would have not had that exchange with him. No telling if I ever would have had another opportunity.
And when you say Barry, please tell the people.
I'm sorry, Barry Jenkins, director of Moonlight, Oscar award-winning Barry Jenkins, director.
Okay.
That was the aha moment of it. It was transformative because I had a lot more life after watching the movie, after watching other performances, reading other stories, I saw some plays or a play, B-Boy. It's a play about gay brothers and the undercover and trying to come out, but feeling like the need to be undercover because, you know, life doesn't accept them the way they are.
Right.
And from that, I'm always asking myself the question when I watch other actors do it, can I do it? Would I be able to let go of me and be that? After Star got canceled, I said, okay, I want to do something, you know, every year I want to try and do another challenge, something that's challenging for myself as an actor. And I wanted another opportunity that had nothing to do with music. Because at this time I've been doing everything that's had music in it. So, which is awesome because it got me through the door. But at this point now I'm like, I want to do a drama. I want to do something that's just embedded in drama and it's going to be challenging for me. Audition, self-tape opportunity came. It was The Shy and it described this character and who they were and how they were. My agent hit me. I said, I'm down. Right, I'm already a fan of the show.
So you didn't have to have it wasn't a second thought.
Wasn't a second thought.
Okay.
Well, no, there was second thought. I wasn't just loud about it though. I was just in my head. I said yes. I had said yes before I had truly worked it all the way out. You know, I asked God for opportunity to expand my humanity, my skill set, my you know, just have new experiences, and this opportunity came.
So at this point, is Luke the actor?
Yes.
Luke the actor decides he's not gonna really care about the judgment of the community. No. It's all about being truthful to this role.
Yes.
Okay.
As an actor, that's the cross we bear.
Right. But as the cross you bear, I mean, you still in your own head, because I know you overthink things. I've been peeping that about you.
Yeah.
So in your own head, it's like, okay, now you have the role. You know you have to have this relationship of love with a woman of trans experience. Yeah. When y'all first had to have a scene where y'all kissed, did you have to give yourself a pep talk? Like, what's the thought process?
No. My thought process at this point, I'm trig. My preparation before first day of shooting, I was preparing myself as Trig, Victor Trig Taylor. I'm just waiting for action. Also, with that, once I gave the go-ahead that I wanted to do this and everything, I received a text immediately from Lena, just, you know, showering me with love and admiration. And she's so grateful that I chose to do this. And she just, you know, gave me just a lot of, in a sense, just kind of say that I got you. I'm gonna take care of you. None of this is in vain. This is not something just to be like, in a sense, this is not just something to like do to get people going wild. We're telling a guy's story. We're telling a couple's story. We're telling something that needs to be seen and felt, and this is grounded. You know.
And I said this to Jasmine who plays Imani. Like, to be honest with you, a lot of people don't even realize that your character Trig is in a relationship with a woman of trans experience. A lot of people don't even pick that up.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, they don't.
Because really, y'all's story, even though initially that's what I thought was supposed to be the story, that's not really what the story is.
Yeah.
You know, you touch on it here and there, but not really.
Yeah. Because that's the beauty of this writing. That's the beauty of this show. It's like it's grounded in the reality of things. Like there are things that are going on around us and the things that we're actually in, but we don't always have those conversations about that particular point. Two people in love are not sitting here talking about the rest of the world. They're sitting there living their best life. Right. And the world makes them have to address particular things if they're not fully aligned. And in the show, that's what you saw in the third episode of, third season? That's where I came in. Where obviously we had been together leading up to this point of us being at a gay bar and my character being at a gay bar and realizing I'm at a gay bar and oh my God, why you got me here in this community? And here we are having we've probably had conversations, but probably not thorough. And here we are having this incident that happened that made us have to look at each other in another way. But it's not us in totality. That's just a piece of us, and which is awesome about that.
Yeah. Okay. So outside of the show, what is the response from like your fans and different people that you run into, family?
Overall positive. Overall, like positive.
Is that what you thought it was going to be? Like, what were you expecting?
I was expecting down the middle kind of thing, maybe. To be fair, I had to let go of that. At this point, this opportunity came to me. The thought of me doing the role and what everybody's going to think, my brand or whatnot, that only lasted an hour. After that, it was like, okay, like committing to the guy, not the possibility of, you know, interaction or sex scenes or whatever. It's like committing to the emotion, the emotional context, like just doing my own research of men I met along the way that, you know, have lived this particular life, and not so much particularly like, you know, being in love with a trans woman, but just in general being a man who his path has been chosen for him without his consent, in a sense. He's in a survival mode. That's where it went with me. I didn't live too much in the space of like, what are people going to think of Luke James Boyd? More so, I thought about what would the community, the LGBTQ community, feel about this character? Because, you know, the character, he's not gay, he's straight. So it's like, it's not like I had to go into a different space. I'm a straight man loving a trans woman. That's that, and that's who he is, and that's how he sees it. There's this flaw where he doesn't associate himself with the community. And in a sense, that's a flaw because he does that because he feels he has to do that to negate the outside world that wants him to be, well, you're a straight thuggish man, you should be a woman, you should be with a cis woman, you know, you got to be this certain way. For me, it was just really diving into the mechanics of it all. Outside world, I didn't care about at this point. Now it's about doing the work.
Well, let me say this season, you have taken over.
Oh, yeah.
You all through, up and through this season.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
are you considered now a series regular?
Series regular. Yeah.
So you are a series regular. Because I was like, yeah, every episode.
Yeah.
No longer just a guest star.
Yeah, they got me series regular. I'm grateful. Thank you.
Which is dope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially coming from music to, you know, feeling like, okay, all the roles you were getting at first dealt with music, but now you are officially an actor.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. Because also Lena first being a fan of me musically, for her not to just, you know, try to milk all the musicalness
and have your artist having your role
be a musician.
Yeah,
and not to say that I can't matriculate down the line, but I thought, you know, for me personally, reading the role, I thought it was really important. One, because you got me doing it. You know, any other actor, you could do anything with them, but you have me doing it when some people know me as Johnny Gill, music, you know, coming from star as Noah, singing. I wanted to have a separation between characters.
Right.
So that they know what show they're watching. If you're a fan, you would go from one show and watch me on one show and you just expect me to sing.
Right.
Oh, I expect him to sing. He's going to sing at some point. For her not to have that in there, we had a moment of it, but it was very personal and the writing was perfect about it because it made the singing more of a personal moment rather than here's this guy trying to be a singer. He's singing to help his woman cope. And that's the reason in which most good guys do. They will go out their way to be a fool for their woman to stop their woman from pain.
Now, we've killed it in the music end. We're killing it on the acting end.
Yeah.
And now you're about to take it to Broadway.
Oh, yeah.
Which here
Yes,
we go.
are.
Once
Yes,
again, working together.
Full circle. Yeah. We making some money together.
Which I think is so dope and awesome when, to me, well, not just to me, I've heard a lot of people feel like a person isn't really an actor until they do Broadway.
I can understand it.
Because it's like now you got to be on every time.
Yeah. There's no, can we take that back? There's none of that.
So what made you want to be a part of this project, Thoughts of a Colored Man?
After reading the script, I was like, okay. Because from doing The Shy, at this point of doing The Shy, I'm in a space of being a vessel. Right? I always hear Denzel talk about being a vessel, being of service. And and listening to those words, affirmations of people I look up to, I would say, well, why do I have to wait to get, you know, be at that age to decide to be a vessel, to be of service in a sense? So if I can find art that helps the world in some kind of way, if I could do that, then that would be awesome. And then The Shy came, and I was just like, okay, let me keep rocking the boat. Because, you know, great art is supposed to rock the world into hopefully a better place. And I was like, yeah, at some point I want to do theater. you know, Broadway or something. I want to do something, and then bam, you know, I got the email about it. I read the script. This is the topic, the tone, everything about it is just another stepping stone for me personally as a creative, but also as a person who I think I'm trying to live my life in a, as far as art wise, in a sense of being a vessel of service. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like the whole cast of Thoughts of a Colored Man is an amazing cast.
God.
And just being a part of this project is exciting for me as well.
Oh my God, it has to
Coming
be. This is some big shit right here.
It is.
Yes.
It is. And I think for me, it's more like, I mean, I guess kind of like what you said. It's like when we add another notch to our belt, you know, when we've had like long careers, it's like, you know, what can you do different? What can you do next? What can you do to continue to elevate yourself? So, you know, for me, it's like a major thing to even be on board as a producer on this show.
I mean, how I take it also, you being a part of this, you know, this is a story about 7 black men, 7 different black men. The hope is, you know, when people see this, it just kind of opens you up to humanity of a man in general, not just his skin color, but also to know that we're similar and maybe not, but the conversation is important, that we need each other in all kinds of ways, but also leaning more into the black man sense, because black men in this world, we get shitted on so deeply, and we're a threat in a lot of ways to people. You need art like this to help move the world, shift the conversations and stuff like that. And you as a black woman being a part of something like this to help elevate that type of consciousness, ideology, you know, you having a son, you know, growing up in this world, your husband. This is something great. You know, I think it's just awesome that you are a producer on this to help men be seen, black men be seen. And I mean, I think that's what my mom does. That's what all black women, great black women do. They always are trying to lift men, nudge the crown. If you don't know you have one on, black women will always help you adjust it to realize it.
I love that.
So
okay.
I admire that you're doing this.
Well,
and that's an act of service, I would say.
Oh, thank you.
No, thank you.
All right, friend. But I'm going to get back quick in your personal life. Are you in a relationship right now?
No.
So you just being single. Do you have any kids?
No.
You don't have any kids? You single? Do you ever want any?
Yeah.
Like, you do eventually.
I want lots of kids.
What you waiting on?
Somebody to have a baby. I'm good. I'm dating.
You are dating?
Yeah, I'm dating.
Okay. Let me ask you this, because it seemed like, you know, you made it seem like when you was younger, you were more like a hound.
Yeah.
But now that you are more mature, you seem so laid back. Like, do women have to make the first move on you, or do you make the first move?
There's a split in between. It's like kind of like there's a split in between, I'd say. I can go after, and sometimes, you know, I always look at things being divine. People come into my life, and wow.
Well, let us know. What type of person are you attracted to?
She's a matchmaker, if you didn't.
Yeah.
How did I become the matchmaker?
You know,
the people want to know.
I don't. You know, it's
Who are you attracted to?
adventurous. About it, if I could say that.
About it.
About it as in, like, you know, just in all the ways, I would say, you know, adventure, you know, exploring the world, also just being for the people, you know, being good, being a good person, because ain't that many good people out here. Someone that's not you know, it's not all about self, and maybe in ways they're being about self by being of service, because that for me, that's a big thing. I always love women who just love to take care of other people, things that they don't have to do, but sensual, sexual, I don't know, you know, it's hard for me to say because I like a plethora of women. For me, it's like, it's about rhythm.
Okay.
You know, if I could hear the drums, then hey, there it is.
He said, there it is.
You know?
What makes you hear the drums, though?
Yeah, I just need it.
What makes you hear the drums, buddy? What makes you hear the drums?
You know, walk, talk, essence.
Okay, I'm just gonna ask you straight up. Okay, your public relationship, we love her, Jessie J, but she's white.
Yeah.
Do you date black women?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
You want to know?
Well, yeah. About that instance, well, she's uber famous, so that it was bound to
It was
happen.
public.
It was public.
Yeah.
And she loves black men. It's not a...
It's nothing. I'm not trying to make anything wrong of it.
Yeah.
But that's the only public relationship
Well, for me,
I know of yours.
For me, yeah. But yeah, I love black women. I love all women.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm an open book to pretty much all diasporas. It's about vibration and the drums. I gotta hear them. I gotta feel them. I gotta feel them.
Okay, girls, you heard it first.
Yes. I need the drums.
So anyway, I know you're in your acting game,
Yeah.
you're in your acting bag, but what do we see as far as your music? Do you ever plan to come back and do more music, or are you just totally focusing on acting right now?
Yes. Since New Edition, I haven't stopped creating music. But for me now, I look at it from a different standpoint rather than how I did as a on the rise artist. I'm more so like, I think of my art like a painter. As if I paint something, that's when you see it. If I paint a bunch of things, then that's when you'll see it. That's when it's on
Listen, I'm
display.
just saying, because even for my own self, it's like, clearly we both came from the music industry, but I have a gang of songs I've never released.
Yeah.
So the question is, Clearly we know music is in you. Hell,
Yeah.
you done bust out singing about 5 times tonight,
Yes.
today.
Yes.
But the question is, do you plan to release any more music?
Yes, I do. I have a live album that I'm mastering right now. It's a live album of my last album that I put out 2020. And I plan on finding moments if one day while on Broadway, maybe do a night at the Blue Note.
That would be dope.
If I could pick up a residency somewhere and do because I got so many musical friends and stuff. I
Right.
would love to just do an oasis, an experience, if you will, that people can just fall into and find new music. Not just my own, but things that people that I listen to, people that I admire, etc.
Okay.
I'm more so getting to a place of just being a creative curator, creating vibes.
You want to create the vibe.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, it's important. The vibe is everything. That's how you hear the drums.
Okay, hearing the drums again. Okay, this is the off the wall question, but the last girl that you've taken out, what was her career? What did she do?
The last girl that I've taken out, she's in sales.
So she's not in music industry.
No.
Okay, I was just curious to know, what is your typical situation that you fall into?
I would meet someone, they would have to be doing something similar to what I'm doing,
Okay, so what's next for Luke? Well, we already know you're gonna be on Broadway this October.
Boom.
People, get your tickets.
Thoughts of Color Man.
Yes, but outside of that, what's next for Luke?
I'm pretty settled and I have enough in, creating music to put out. This new venture and coming on Broadway, it's pretty much my focus.
Your focus right now.
Yeah, I'm like a scientist or a student, if you will, because I'm looking forward to the lessons that I'm going to gather from these experiences. So I'm in a sense, feels like I'm getting ready to go to college.
Gotcha.
Broadway is the university. I'm uber excited, nervous, and all of the above to take this journey.
Well, thank you so much for letting me talk your ear off. And I've been having you sitting here for a long time in the hot seat.
No, it's great. I'm cool.
Wait, sidebar, I forgot to ask you, how did Wolf James come about?
Wolf is a child. It's something since I was a child. It's been just given,
That was a nickname.
just given to me.
Got it.
If you know New Orleans is really like laced in tribal and just those kind of connections, spirituality via Haitian, Spanish, Native American. Yeah, Wolf.
Okay. All right, y'all. So thank you for checking this out. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Yes.
Tell everybody to check us out and make sure you get your tickets to Thoughts of a Colored Man. That's going to be on Broadway this October through March is the first run. So make sure you come and get your tickets. Make it a date.
Make it a date. It is going to be a beautiful experience, and it'd be awesome to bring somebody along and take the journey.
Well, on that note, see you next time.